Good morning, America. You're listening to America's Voice Now. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's bright and early Monday morning. Our topic this morning is going to be banking. If you're not aware, you should be, that the Eurozone and the Euro are falling apart. Why do we care, you ask? Well, over the next hour, we're going to learn exactly why we care. Cyprus, as a nation, a small island adjacent to Greece, is in dire trouble. They need a $13 billion bailout. And forgive me if I intermix euros and dollars during the course of today's show. But they need a $13 billion bailout, which we look upon as, well, that's the rounding error on Congress's lunch bill. But the reality is, for that nation, it's life or death. Last week, they threatened to confiscate 10% of all monies in all accounts in an effort to try to stem the losses and back up this loan they're looking for from other nations in the Eurozone. Today, they've announced that they have dodged a default and an unprecedented exit from the euro by agreeing to shut their national bank, their primary nationally owned bank, and confiscating those accounts that are above 100,000 euros. Now, last week we talked about the fact that by confiscating any money, they are violating the trust of the individual people of the nation. And there were a lot of protests. There was a lot of runs on their ATMs and banking systems by people attempting to get the money out of the bank before it could be seized. So after a lot of protesting and screaming and yelling, the individuals in Cyprus apparently won out, and the nation decided they weren't going to seize the funds from individual investors or individual banking deposits, let's put it that way. Originally, it was supposed to be 10% on deposits over 100,000 and about 7% on deposits under 25,000. Then they changed that, and now it looks like they are going to confiscate deposits above 100,000, and they're going to stand to confiscate as much as 30 to 40% of those accounts. Now, the biggest individuals that are going to be hit there are going to be foreign investors and foreign people who have parked money there, similar to how Americans park funds in the Cayman Islands and in the Caribbean, and used to park in Switzerland before the United States grabbed a hold of Switzerland by the throat and told them that if they continue to hide money for Americans, they would take action against the nation of Switzerland. Switzerland, which used to be the world secret banking headquarters, has caved and has agreed that they will no longer do that and are now sharing depositors' information with the United States government. Meanwhile, of course, they have no problem with corporate interests who park trillions overseas because of the onerous tax rates here in the United States, and those companies that are their favorite players, like GE, have absolutely blanket amnesty for everything and anything. In fact, if you're not aware of it, in 2010, General Electric, Obama's favorite little corporation, filed a 52,000-page tax return and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Now, the CEO of GE sat on Obama's jobs creation board while simultaneously creating jobs overseas in the tens of thousands and stripping them from America. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Immelt, the alleged traitor, who headed up the Jobs Council, I think they only met once or twice in like a 2-year window and then dissolved it. I mean, it was all show. It was kabuki theater. It was puppeteering for the American American citizen. This was Obama's effort to create a jobs council that would determine how to provide jobs here in the United States. Unfortunately, they didn't create a damn thing, except a lot more paperwork and a lot of angst and anxiety. They never actually met more than once or twice for a few drinks and maybe a couple of fancy Havana cigars, and then disbanded. What this is, and what's going on in Cyprus and the euro right now, affects us. For starters, most of the Russian oligarchs who keep money parked there stand to lose a significant amount of money. It could be well into the billions. Those with accounts under 100,000 will be spared these draconian thefts. However, those over 100,000, which will obviously be the better heeled investors, by the way, that you have to recognize that a euro is the equivalent to about $1.30 in U.S. currency. So when we're talking about 100,000 euros, that's about $130,000 in deposits, right? Here's the difference. They don't have something called the FDIC, Federal Depositors Insurance Corporation. They don't have any kind of guarantee for depositors whose monies sit in those banks. They rely on the trust and the influence that they have over those bankers to not steal their money. Now, the Russians will literally lose billions and billions of dollars in this instance. And the problem, of course, with that is that by losing these billions, they're going to be pretty upset about the fact that this nation has agreed to strip them of their wealth. The national bank will be closed. Its good assets will be transferred to a different bank. And those people who had over 100,000 pounds, their funds will be seized in order to lessen the losses of the bank. Really? So you're going to tell me that we're going to seize their income, seize their money, and use that to cover bank losses on a nationalized bank? Wow. Why does this matter to you? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because our currency is inextricably linked to the euro. And if the euro goes down, the dollar will follow shortly thereafter. We already know that the liquidity of the dollar is in severe freefall. We know that the Fed is printing up literally billions upon hundreds of billions of dollars. And we know that they are buying our own debt. It's called monetizing the debt. So they're shill bidding our own debt. This can and will have devastating effects upon us. It places the United States currency in a very, very precarious position. Keep your eyes on Cyprus. Keep your eyes on the Eurozone. And keep your eyes on the Fed. Watch closely. We'll be right back.
Out of 365 days a year, we celebrate holidays, anniversaries, and other important days. But there is one day you look forward to, your birthday.
I wanna wish you a happy
Ryan's Steakhouse of West Plains is proud to bring you the Birthday Club weekday mornings with Cooper and Company. Our daily winner receives one buffet and a drink to Ryan's. Just call your birthdays in weekday mornings with Cooper and Company at 255-0427. Brought to you by Ryan's and the Ozarks Best News Talk.
And happy birthday to you! Cha-cha-cha-cha!
Are you looking to save money? Did you know that in the last 20 years, interest rates have never been this low? That's why you should make the smart call today to West Plains Savings and Loan to start your home mortgage. Just imagine how much money you'll save. Key word is save, as in savings and loan. Your loan starts here and stays here. Never would it be sold to a secondary lender. Call today, 256-3042. That's 256-3042. West Plains Savings and Loan. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
All right, we have returned. We are going to be joined this morning by our guest. Our guest is Rachel Lecter, and she is the creator of the Oregon County Food Producers and Artisans Co-op. Now, the reason why this is important to us is because, like we're just talking about with banking issues, this type of cooperative organization will determine where we come down and how we are able to preserve ourselves in the coming financial collapse or catastrophe that's about to slam our nation. We can't live with a $16 trillion debt, buying our own debt back, and a collapsing European currency. All other nations are buying gold literally by the ton. By the ton. And so one of the reasons why we've created a co-op, and Oregon County Food Producers and Artisans have a co-op, is because the goal here is to teach us how to be self-sustaining in times of crisis. Good morning, Rachel. Are you with us?
I am.
Well, great. Thank you very much for joining us.
Great to be talking with you this morning.
So you are representing the Oregon County Food Producers and Artisans Co-op, which is basically a collective of ranchers, farmers, artisans, and concerned people who work towards a holistic approach to community renewal and self-sufficiency. Is that fairly accurate?
That's exactly right. That's what we do. It's kind of a combination of producers and consumers that are interested in taking that concept of self-sufficiency and applying it on a community level.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about your co-op organization and how you're operating that. And I think we're going to have to take this in a couple of different bites. First, you've got the co-op portion, and then you've got like an artisans group that I'm sure are producing local goods that are for purchase and available for individuals. But let's talk about the co-op first, because I think that's probably a little bit more closely tied to the self-reliance concept.
Are you talking about the market space?
Yes.
We're getting ready to open the market space. Our grand opening will be April 20th. I've been working with local producers and community members for about 2 years now, laying the groundwork for this. So we're very excited to finally have our physical space.
Gotcha.
And get that open.
Now, where is that, Rachel?
It's located in Alta, Missouri, on the square. It's in between the public library and Christo's House thrift store, across from the courthouse.
Gotcha. Sure.
On that side. And we will be carrying goods, anything handmade or homegrown, in Oregon County and the 40-mile surrounding radius. So West Plains would be included in that.
Okay.
Doniphan, even across the state line down in Arkansas. Really, we look at what hangs together as a cohesive unit in terms of the way things grow, the way things are produced, the way folks talk, all of those things to kind of set our parameters. Our co-op operates a little bit differently than other co-ops. we're set up as a for-profit limited liability corporation, so a for-profit business, but we're really serving a nonprofit function.
Right.
So we operate on a 30-70 split with producers. The producers set the price, and they receive the 70%. So they work in their profit margins.
Right.
And then with our 30%, along with membership fees, we are able to pay our bills, and once that's accomplished, we'll take 100% of our profits and reinvest them into the communities of Oregon County as mutual aid funds. And the
Great.
members vote on where that money goes. So we can support individuals, local organizations that seek to address the greater needs in our community. We have a high poverty rate.
Sure.
Jobs are scarce. Food security is scarce. So we want to be able to contribute to bettering our community on multiple levels.
Well, the great part of that is that when you recycle money within the community, it recycles 7 times. And that's an average, but I mean, money is typically recycled 7 times when it's spent locally, versus once when it's given to an outside organization or agri-giant or corporation or whatever. So the idea that actually you're adding another recycle to that, which is any profits that you make, you're putting right back into the community again. And not only that, but your members are actually the voters on who and where and upon what that money is spent, which I really like.
Right, and that's one of the things that we're looking at, in terms of what is, as you mentioned, sustainability earlier.
Sure.
How can we look at community sufficiency in a way that is generations long, to keep as much as the energy and money in the community, but also nurture the practices that provide those goods and services for people. So, for instance, I have nothing against West Plains. We like West Plains a lot. But for the folks of Oregon County, some people drive as far as West Plains, which is 45 miles from my home.
Not exactly around the corner.
To buy lettuce at, say, Walmart, when there's a wonderful local organic producer, grows year-round.
Sure,
and
you know what's
cheaper.
on it.
And you know what's on it, and it's actually cheaper than what the product that you would get at Walmart. So the sense is to create this location, at least where we are. You can, if you have the time, I've discovered, if you have the time and you know about it, there's somebody producing almost anything you need. It might not be, I might not be able to, well, my example I used to use is tilapia, but I think now people are growing aquaponics, so they're doing tilapia.
Right.
But you might not have everything that you might want, but everything you need, from laundry soap, produce, ice cream, any sort of dairy goods, meat products, all of those are being produced.
Sure.
You just have to know about them word of mouth, and you have to have the time to drive all around. So the idea is that if we have this central location where people can come, and it's more of a general store than a farmer's market,
right?
That people want to support their neighbors. And we also have set this co-op up in a way that the membership fees can be paid in money, product, or service. We're trying to encourage a bartering economy, and many of the producers that I've talked to are willing to barter for the goods that they're carrying in the store.
And you gotta love barter, because one, it eliminates taxation, which, as far as I'm concerned, that's feeding the beast, right? Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, it enables you to trade goods for goods that you need, and so you don't have that loss where money trades hands. So right. I mean, every time dollars trade against goods, there's a loss for the owner of the dollars. And in terms of a monetary system, the goal of the monetary system is to take a piece of every transaction, right? So when you eliminate that transactional value of money and you barter, goods for goods or services for services, you eliminate that loss to both the seller and the buyer, right? So that's an absolute benefit. And not only that, but you're learning who in your community is suited to help you either with goods or services or produce or whatever the case may be. So you're learning local communications and connections that really help you in the long run.
Right. I'm kind of I have no business background. I've been very blessed to have help, especially from the Small Business and Technology Center there in West Plains.
Yes, yeah.
And I have volunteers with the co-op that have stepped up and said, my talent is accounting. It's what I do professionally.
Right.
But I'm really coming at it from a humanities perspective. That's my background, or is arts and humanities. And I've really looked, as someone who lives in Oregon County and loves it, I've looked at the history of the county and culturally how the county is operated. And it's an interesting place because there's always been a lack of employment opportunity, and the income level has always been relatively low. Right now, we're over a quarter of the people live below the national poverty line.
Yeah.
But one of the good aspects about that is that these traditions of bartering as a way to be able to stay here have never died out. A lot of people still grow their food on some level, and they exchange with neighbors for other goods and services.
Sure.
So it's waned. I mean, we're not in the middle of nowhere. People have television and satellites and radio, luckily. But
radio is one of the cheapest. I mean, it costs you nothing, right? You already have a radio laying around somewhere.
but there is still this connection to these ideas. It's not, in other places it might seem like some radical act to do some of these things, but here it's just common sense.
Sure. Well, I have to tell you, co-ops are not a new idea.
Right.
The fact that you're implementing one that is locally organized and created and benefits, the local growers as well as and I shouldn't say growers only, farmers, period. And while simultaneously, benefiting the community with the return on the profits that you make is a winner. Basically, the idea of all co-ops is to enable buyers to obtain goods and services at a lower price than retail than they would ordinarily pay, while simultaneously keeping the funds and that money rotating within the community, which is where the real benefits are. And what you folks are doing over there is a great thing. And I have to tell you that the co-op, as far as I'm concerned, in an economic scenario that we're in today, and I guess you heard the tail end of what I was talking about on my bullet points this morning, but we have a worldwide financial crisis that is occurring, and it's not something that just happens overnight. I mean, this takes these issues. It took them time to build this bubble. It's going to take a little bit of time before it finally bursts, but it is important that individuals in the community know where and whom they can do business with outside of the Walmarts and the supercenters and the stores in the community, because at some point in time we may have to rely upon Mabel, who grows great bean sprouts,
Yeah.
And the idea of a co-op not only is beneficial on an immediate level because everybody has an opportunity to get to know and buy locally, but it also builds a community bond that is unmatched in any other way. And that's the real true value of what you're doing, Rachel. So I applaud your efforts. We're going to get caught off by a break here. And if you'll stick with us, I'd like to talk a little bit about, when we return, about who or some of the products that you're going to be offering. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about the artisan side of things as well. So if you don't mind sticking with us, we've got a capitalist break we've got to take here. That's what pays the bills on radio, since listeners don't.
Yeah.
But we're going to return in just a moment, and if you'll stick with us, we will make sure that we get an opportunity to talk more about your project. So, folks, you're listening to America's Voice Now. We are speaking this morning with Rachel Lecter, and she is the head of the Oregon County Food Producers and Artisans Co-op. We'll return in just a moment.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Secretary of State John Kerry dropping in unannounced in Afghanistan. He's meeting with President Karzai amid concerns anti-American comments by Karzai may be hurting the war against extremism.
His visit comes as the U.S. hands over the only prison still under American control. Kerry was also in Iraq over the weekend, where he confronted the Prime Minister for continuing to allow Iran access to its airspace for flights to Syria.
Fox Radio's Emily Wither. Spring has definitely not sprung in the Midwest, which is digging out of a storm that left over a foot of snow in some areas. This Indianapolis Public Works employee has his hands full.
A lot more travelers getting stuck on the on-ramps to interstates and the exit ramps, so we're trying to assist with getting plows up there.
The storm also causing delays and cancellations at many Midwest airports, the storm weakening as it heads east. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Thanks to Jason over at Wits End Classic Barbershop for sponsoring our phone lines. You can call our Wits End Classic Barbershop hotline, and you can get over there and get yourself a shave and a haircut. 2 bits. Well, a little bit more than 2 bits. Thanks to our friends over at Pizza Hut as well. On Porter Wagoner Boulevard, they have an outstanding lunch special. And on Tuesday nights, they have Kids Eat Free. Children under 12 eat for free. They're on Porter Wagoner Boulevard in West Plains. Make sure you visit Pizza Hut. Our friends at the Battery Station, 303 Washington Avenue at batterystation.com. You can also reach them via telephone at 257-7799. Folks over at West Plains Pawn and Gun. Kenny's a friend of ours and a great supporter of our program. 417-256-3000, located about a mile and a half on Route 160 past Walmart. You can reach him also on the web at westplainspawn.com. Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance, half-mile east of Walmart at Route 62 in Mountain Home. You can find them on the web at ozarkmtnselfreliance.com. And you can call them at 870-492-4030. My friend Mary over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, the best damn bakery in 100 miles. She can be reached at 417-255-2253. You can also find her at number 2 Evans Arcade. Outstanding bakery. Bill Stone over at Stone Construction at 2930116. Whether remodeling, building new, or doing some kind of custom construction like commercial or farm work, Bill's the guy for you. 2930116.
There's one man on this earth who really, truly gets it.
The Democrat Party is not the Democrat Party of 40, 50, 60 years ago. The Democrat Party is a radical left party, populated at the top by 1960s retreads and other sorts of radicals, miscreants, and malcontents, many of whom aren't from the 1960s, but they might as well be, including the president himself.
Weeknights from 5 till 8, Mark Levin on the Ozark's Best News Talk 107.1.
News Talk 107.1 The Point Weather sponsorships are available for your business marketing plans. Contact Cody or Josh at 255-2548 for more information.
From the Point Weather Center for this morning, we'll have a mostly cloudy sky with a couple of flurries around. It means mostly cloudy through the day, the high 38. Cloudy with a flurry in spots tonight, low 22. Mostly sunny skies tomorrow, high 38. Mostly sunny Wednesday, high 52. I'm staff hydrologist Jim Rinaldi, and for more information, visit my1071thepoint.com.
Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt on the next Hugh Hewitt Show. Joe Kernan of CNBC Squawk Box joins me to talk about how long and how far this rally can go and whether or not Apple's ever going to get back on board, though they had a wonderful day on Friday. And I'll be joined by Congressman Tom Cotton, around whom considerable swirl continues to spin because he might be running for the United States Senate.
Sundays from 6 till 7, following Money Talk with Bob Brinker, it's the Weekend Journal with Hugh Hewitt on the Ozark's Best News Talk 107.1.
All right, we are returning, and we are speaking this morning with Rachel Luster. And I apologize, Rachel, I mangled your last name before, and that was my fault, not yours. Rachel Luster is the creator and the founder of the Oregon County Food Producers and Artisans Co-op. They are located in Alton on the square, and they're slated to open on April 20th. So for our listeners who are out in that area, they cover a 40-mile radius surrounding the center or the square of Alton. And if you would like to be either a vendor or a purchaser, by all means, you can certainly do that. The facility or the building is actually slated to open on the 20th of April. Is that not correct?
It is, and all members or all producers that sell in the market are required to have a membership, which is payable in money, product, or service.
Okay. What's the cost of that?
It is $10 a month cash or $5 in 1 hour of service. We have about equal amount signed up right now to do the service option.
I love that. I love that. How creative of you.
And then also, for consumers, you're not required to have a membership to purchase things or to trade for things in the market space, but you are encouraged to buy a membership because it's investing in the community building aspect, and there's also certain perks. For instance, we're doing a grand opening event on April 20th with live music and snacks and stuff, but on the 19th, the evening before, we'll be having a members-only dinner with live music at the location. So throughout the year, there will be additional perks for members, including consumers.
Okay, so on the 27th, now that you're having the dinner for members, right?
On the 19th.
I'm sorry, 4/19, you're having a dinner for members.
Yep.
And that's members only.
That's members only.
And on the 28th, you're having a kind of like a grand opening welcome session?
Just on that next day, April 20th.
Oh, 20th. I apologize. Okay.
Yeah. So we're coming up on it.
Yeah, we are. Okay, so April 20th is your grand opening as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And now you're going to be doing a number of things, including some raffles, and so you have organic fertilizer as some of the prizes, and one of the units that Sherry from Half Pint Homestead creates, right?
Yes. We're selling raffle tickets for both right now as a fundraiser for the co-op, and then so on the grand opening day on April 20th, we'll be giving away drawing for 3 50-pound bags of Fertile Super N organic all-purpose fertilizer and 3 44-pound bags of the volcanic ash soil amendment from Fertile, and that was donated by Troke Farms. Frank from Troke Farms donated those, and if you want to swing by the store and see them, he's delivering them on Friday. Each bag covers 5,000 square feet plus of ground, so it's a good deal. Those tickets are $1 a piece or 6 for $5.
Got it.
And then Sherry Willis was really wonderful to donate an 18-tray fodder kit, which is her largest fodder kit.
That's the big one.
Yes, it produces 45 pounds of fodder a day.
I know. I was stunned. We had her on the show, and her product is so cool and so unique. And the idea that you can literally feed a cow and a calf with one of these units, which you can have literally in your living room, to me is just astounding. And it's so creative and so unique. She started that business in September, and within 2 months had to quit her job, and now she's shipping them all over the world and all over the country. So kudos to her. She's got a great product.
They're really wonderful, and we're very thankful that she donated the 18-tray kit, and then she's also going to set up one of her new micro kits at the co-op, and I think we'll probably carry the plans and things in here.
The idea too is that anybody who goes to that co-op and sees those units will immediately want one, because I mean, even if you're just growing stuff, just for your own self. I mean, she grows that wheatgrass, which is really, really good for juicing. I don't know that we want to eat it, but it's great for juicing. And that would be an ideal scenario for somebody who just wants to, and there's lots of other things you can grow, bean sprouts and all kinds of things that you can eat. So it's not just fodder for animals, it's also fodder for two-legged animals.
Exactly. And it's a $543 system, and the tickets are $3 a ticket, or 4 for $10, or 10 for $25.
Awesome.
And we'd like the drawing for that's going to be on May 1st.
Okay. I want to give out some of your information. Folks, you can find Rachel Luster's website on the Oregon County Food Producers and Artisans Co-op. She has a Facebook page, and I'm going to give you directions to get there. So get your pen and paper out, and then we're going to give out her email address and also her phone number in case you would like to be a vendor over at the co-op. If you are within a traveling distance, that 40-mile radius around Alton, it is important for you, and you're a producer of something, it would be important for you to get a hold of Rachel and join the co-op and become a member and offer your goods and services there as well. And again, you not only are just have an opportunity to sell your products, but also to barter with other members for their products. So the benefit here is twofold, and sometimes bartering can be a lot more advantageous than just a straight-out sale. So, okay, everybody who's got pen and paper ready, here we go. You can find the website at facebook.com/Oregon County Co-op. Now, that's all spelled out. So it's Oregon County, C-O-U-N-T-Y, Co-op, C-O-O-P. And you can put the hyphen in there, or you don't have to under the word co-op. It's entirely up to you. It shows up either way. And so that you can jump on there and also do yourself and Rachel a favor and like that off of your personal Facebook page, because that helps it go viral. In addition to that, you can call Rachel at 417-280-1633. Again, that's 417-280-1633. And if you have email, you can email Rachel directly at Luster, that's L-U-S-T-E-R, like luster as in shine or polish, luster at AOL.com. All right? You know, Rachel, we have to do, on radio, we have to give people an example of a word because they can't, on TV it's real easy. You just put it at the bottom of the screen and everybody can read it. But on radio, we can't do that. So so the opportunity here is out there for you people. If you are at all interested in participating in the Oregon County Food Producers and Artisans Co-op, make sure that you make it your business to contact Rachel immediately, if not sooner, because this gives you a great chance to really expand your own horizons, whether you are a producer or whether you are a potential purchaser. Buy local. The food stays local. The money stays local. You're buying goods and services from people and friends and neighbors that you know. You're making sure that your money stays within our community. And every dime that Rachel is making as a group here from this gets reinvested back into the community. And that is a triple win for everybody. So I really, I'm very impressed, Rachel, with what you're doing. And I'll tell you something else. I really like this idea of the membership thing where if you can't swing $10 a month, you swing $5 in an hour of service. I love that.
Yeah, we want everyone to feel like, we want everyone to feel like they can participate, and we want everyone that is invested in this community by living here and by having families here to have ownership in this. It's really, I call it the economy of neighborliness.
Well, you know what that is? You know what that is? That's called skin in the game. When you are invested in the process and in the functions that you're participating in, you have an interest because now you're motivated by your own investment in that, and whether that's emotional or financial or economic or whatever it is, physical. You are emotionally invested and financially and physically invested in that, and you're going to work harder to make it successful. And that is the kind of thing that I like to see. You've really, I don't know what you said you had no business experience, but I can tell you right now that is guerrilla marketing at its best, and that's a great marketing concept you pulled there. So don't underestimate your own value.
I'm excited to get the doors open, and we have different types of equity. Money's not the only thing that we are looking at.
Sure.
And in terms of over the past 2 years, what it's taken to get to this point where we are ready to open the market space, I've been constantly amazed not only at all of the things being produced and all of the talents that are in our county and the area around it, but how many talents people have that they're willing to contribute to this effort.
Sure.
And it's a team of us that have made it happen on every level. It's been a really great experience for me to kind of be the coordinator of it. But
what I really like about this is that you're practicing what you preach. And folks, that is exactly what we stand for here at America's Voice Now. The goal is don't just talk about it, live it, right? So we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to give out Rachel's information one more time. We're going to talk briefly about Artisans, and then we'll be wrapping our show. Stick with us, folks. We'll be right back.
Last time on the Dennis Miller Show.
At an event thrown by the website Politico, Bill Gates said, quote, "Some days I wish we had a system like the UK, quote, to give Obama more power." Yeah, some days I wish Windows worked like Apple. How's that, Billy Boy? These guys are fetishistic. He wants it to work more like the UK. He wants to see Obama padding around in one of those powder
Weekdays from 9 till noon, it's the Dennis Miller Zone on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1.
The area's best selection of firearms and ammunition can only be found at West Plains Pawn and Jewelry. Top-of-the-line handguns from Kimber, Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Glock, Beretta, and many more. A wide selection of ammunition, including blanks, centerfire handgun and rifle, rimfire, a variety of shotgun shells, target, and turkey. With new arrivals every week, the area's best selection of firearms and ammunition can only be found at West Plains Pawn and Jewelry, 1713 West U.S. Highway 160, or shop online at westplainspawn.com.
I know what you're thinking, Bunk. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
Dirty Harry gets all his ammo from the battery station. John Rambo, you guessed it. He gets his ammo from the battery station, too. So if you need ammo, go to the place where the guys who know about ammunition go, the battery station. They have one of the largest supplies of ammunition in the area. So make sure you're stocked up and don't get low on shells. Go to the battery station at 303 Washington Avenue in West Plains.
They say that people actually suffer from anxiety if they don't know where their cell phone is. And you know what they call it now? Are you ready? Nomophobia. There are other phobias like boobtubophobia. That's when you're afraid of missing Judge Judy. Hey, the worst of all is commandophobia.
Saturdays noon to 3 for the Kim Commando Show, and weekdays at 7:20 for your digital minute. That's Kim Commando on the Ozarks Best News Talk.
All right, we are returning, and, well, I'll tell you what, I really, really like this program. Rachel, I can tell that other folks are listening to us because I've just watched your Facebook page jump up to 232 likes from, you've added a few this morning. I have to tell you, this is really very, very impressive, and what I'd like you to do, and I don't know whether you've kind of pre-organized this just by virtue of your experience or not, I'd like to see you take this and build this as a model that other counties, including, as an example, Howell County or Shannon County or somebody else could do, and then offer that as a kind of like a sponsorship to other communities that wanted to do this. And it doesn't have to be a county. It could just be a community that wants to, basically replicate what you've done but doesn't know where to start. And I'll tell you what, to me, I'm a firm believer that if we are not coordinating our efforts together, I'd love to sponsor something like this myself. And so I'm going to definitely be talking to you over the course of, we do a co-op here on the show. And our co-op is really geared towards allowing our listeners to be able to buy bulk food at wholesale prices. Mm-hmm. But we don't have anything like this where there's a physical location where they can go and kind of, put their own products in there and that kind of thing. So ours is a one-way co-op, which, it's the best that I can do because I don't, I'm on the radio and I don't have a physical building and all those kinds of things. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to be talking to you over the course of the next day or two, and I'm going to find out exactly what America's Voice Now can do to put this kind of a co-op together right here.
Yeah, let's work on you building. I actually go all over the country talking about this, as it's developed and grown, and lessons that have been learned. Just working with community is complicated. People have different backgrounds and different interests and different reasons why they want to participate, and different needs.
Sure.
And so yeah, I'm more than happy to come talk with communities or individuals or organizations about how they could do this and some of the lessons I've learned in the process.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, this is what you're doing here is very impressive. So I'm going to give out your information again because I really want people to participate in this project with you. I think that this is the number one way that we as a community can really, truly benefit ourselves and those around us. You know, this is putting into practice what we preach, right? So it's really critically important that we're participating in any and every way that we can. So, folks, you can get to Rachel's Facebook page, excuse me, for the co-op. It is facebook.com/Oregon County Co-op. And that's Oregon, the spell out the word, or the name of the county, spell out the word county, and then just put co-op like C-O-O-P, like coop, like chicken coop. And you'll get there. You can put the dash in co-op if you like, or you don't have to. I found it works either way.
Oh.
Also, on the telephone number for Rachel is 417-280-1633. And you can also reach Rachel directly via email at luster, that's L-U-S-T-E-R, like luster, like you get when you polish your table with Pledge, at AOL.com. And April 20th is the grand opening bash, and this is on the square in Alton. So, I mean, the square isn't that big. Drive around it once. If you can't find it, take your blinders off and look again. And on the 19th, if you're a member, they're going to have a dinner for the membership. And then on the 20th is the grand opening bash, and that is going to be a great event. If you are a member, that is an awesome way for you to participate. You don't have to be a member to buy. You only have to be a member to basically carry your products in their co-op. It's a small pittance of $10 a month, or if you're having trouble coming up with the $10 a month because you haven't sold any product yet, then you can pay $5 a month and you can contribute 1 hour of service. And that, to me, is, I mean, kudos to you. Really, congratulations on a great project and a great program.
Thank you. Thanks,
so,
Mike. And we will, at the event, too, we'll be having live bluegrass music and refreshments and really just bringing producers and consumers together to meet one another and find out what people are doing.
Sure. You're also going to have some raffles there for organic fertilizer and Sherry Willis's Half Pint Homestead. That's the fodder kits that she manufactures. Folks, you've been on here. She's a local gal here in West Plains. You've been on and listened to her on our show here. So that will be one of the items that's being raffled. It's the big kit that she makes, which will literally feed a cow and a calf, a nursing cow and a calf. Or I should say a cow and a nursing calf. But the idea is, folks, that this gives you an opportunity to work locally in your community and, make sure that you're working directly with those people that are the producers and the users of the products that you make and manufacture. You have artisans. Tell us a little bit about them quickly.
We do. So the idea is that it kind of expands on the concept of a farmer's market and is inclusive. I mean, you see some of these items at farmers market, things such as rugs, quilts, jewelry. There's just people doing all sorts of things. We're really excited to have an exhibit by Susan Lumsden, who you might know in West Plains from A La Carte Cafe. Yes. And she's from Thayer, and she also does these beautiful textile art pieces under the name The Rebel Quilter. And Susan's going to be having an exhibit of her work. We're also going to have an exhibit up of these beautiful photographs from the Lexicon of Sustainability. The co-op was one of 100 organizations in the country chosen to curate a pop-up art show of these images, which take terms like sustainability or free range, and there's a beautiful photograph associated with each term, and then handwritten in the photograph, the term is defined so that they're really educational outreach tools to get people more familiar with terms regarding sustainability and sufficiency.
Outstanding. I'll tell you, this is really, really great stuff you're doing, and I'm impressed to the point where I wish I was doing it here. I know I got so many projects on my plate. My listeners are like, if you take on another project, we're going to come over and punch you in the nose because I've got so many different projects trying to run. But what I like about this one is it's an actual physical project where people can come in and literally participate locally in the co-op. So to me, that's the epitome of it, and I really, really like the idea of this. I've got a vendor for you who's going to be, I'm going to contact and make sure she participates with you. She's a friend of mine. She runs a place called Spring Creek Beef, and basically it is it's grass-fed beef. And I think she'd be willing to put a freezer up in your place. She's down in Pottersville, and she has a freezer over here at Battery Station in West Plains where people can literally come in here and buy it instead of having to drive all the way out to the farm. That's great. It's all spring-fed. It's all natural grass-fed. There is no steroids, no hormones, no antibiotics, nothing. I mean, it's beef as if like it was 100 years ago.
Yeah, we like that.
I have to tell you, I've eaten it, and it is absolutely awesome. I mean, it really is very, very good. So I'll give her a call, and I'll ask her to follow up with you as well, because I'm sure that she'd be willing to put a freezer up there and offer her products at your facility. And I guess that's what it's about, right? Is everybody, do they provide their own stands if they're like a vegetable producer, or do you provide that, or how does that work?
We've been discussing this with the individual producers. We have meetings and people come, and so right now it's kind of a combination. I was able to buy some shelving, and the space that we have is actually fairly small. It's around 800 square feet.
Gotcha.
And there's another room that will be added onto that eventually as we get kind of secure footing. But right now it's a combination of the producers having display tables and shelves and things, and then we have some shelving. And our building is an old bakery building. It's got this wonderful glass and wooden old display case in there, so we have that.
How awesome.
So we're really just building this from below the ground up, is what we say.
Got it.
And
hey, that is outstanding. I want to thank you for joining with us this morning. We're out of time, of course, and I want to thank you for taking the time. Would you come back on a Saturday and just, because we have almost like two different audiences,
I would love to, and thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much for being with us this morning, and I'll give your information out one more time before we wrap. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Right. Bye-bye. Okay, so folks, it is the Oregon County Cooperative, and you can find them at facebook.com/Oregon County Co-op. Spell it all out. And co-op is C-O-O-P or C-O-O-P. Either way, you'll get there. It is on Alton, on the square. And their phone number or phone number where you can reach Rachel directly is 417-280-1633, or you can email her directly at luster@AOL.com. This is a great project, and I am really, really pleased to have given Rachel the opportunity to get the word out to the folks in and around that community. And we are going to be talking with her and see if we can't pull something off like that directly here in Howell County as well. So let's make sure that we're exactly practicing, folks, what we preach. That is the purpose of what we're here for, right? It's not just to benefit from what we can get from our government's largesse. It's to make sure that we're practicing what we preach, which is self-reliance, self-sufficiency, integrity, honor, education, information, motivation, and activation. This is the active part. Hey, listen, you all have a great day. I want to thank every one of you for listening with us this morning, and we will see you tomorrow morning bright and early. Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is KBMV Birch Tree is the Ozarks best news talk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. People are camped out for and against gay marriage, sleeping outside the Supreme Court awaiting this week's big hearings. But the day before the first one, the court decides it'll hear yet another affirmative action case. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern live in Washington.
Affirmative action is nothing new for this court. We're still waiting a decision to a challenge to the University of Texas. Taking race as one factor in admissions. The court just announcing it will broaden its examination and review a voter-approved Michigan law banning affirmative action at public universities. A divided appeals court struck down the Michigan law. A ruling in that Texas case expected before the summer recess, Dave.
Jared, the NRA's pushback against gun control is getting pushed back in Newtown, Connecticut, where the school massacre 3 months ago rekindled the gun violence debate. Some people are there upset about NRA robocalls, urging people to tell their legislators to oppose new laws. Secretary of State John Kerry's in Afghanistan holding talks the same day the U.S. handed over control of the last prison we were running there to the Afghans. Kerry's trip comes after he also showed up unannounced to Iraq, worried about Syria.
Anything that supports President Assad is problematic.
The concern is Iraq isn't stopping Iran from flying over its country, supplying weapons and fighters to Syria. It may be early spring, but there's a lot of snow shoveling going on. Fox News Radio's Jennifer Kuiper live in Chicago.
Portions of Colorado, northwest Kansas, Missouri, and central Illinois have over a foot of snow. In Ashcombe, Illinois,
it's looking pretty rough right now. We really can't complain. We didn't have too bad of a winter.
At least 2 deaths in Kansas and Missouri are blamed on slick roads. Several Indiana counties had to declare snow emergencies. The storm heading east has dumped 2 to 6 inches in Ohio and is expected to leave behind a few inches from northern Maryland to southern New York. Dave?
Jennifer, an African man will be sentenced in Michigan this morning for forcing kids from his native Togo to work as slaves in his home for nearly 5 years. Prosecutors want him to get 9 years in prison. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Hi, folks. Jay Farner here, president of Quicken Loans. We're thrilled to have helped over 125,000 homeowners save money by refinancing with HARP. But there are millions more of you who could be saving big money on your home loans by getting HARPed. With HARP, you may be able to refinance with Quicken Loans even